Okay, I think that means we're ready. Oh, one more thing. I need to turn on more light. It's a little shady in here. There. Okay, so what we are going to be working on tonight is the country snowman. So the colors that I have in your kit are going to be black, white, burnt sienna, a little bit of orange, Christmas green, and then King's gold yellow. I think that's just for the star, yeah. So I'm going to start with my background. So you're going to start with your big flat brush. Go ahead and get your brush wet and dry it off on your rag. You want to start with a damp brush. So I'm going to be using the white and the burnt sienna. I'm going to keep the edges more antiqued. So I'm going to be adding more burnt sienna, and then as I come in, I'm going to lighten up, and I'm going to try and do that kind of in a circle. So I'm going to load my brush with white, and then one corner in that burnt sienna. And I'm just going to start in a corner. Looks like you can see, I don't know why my autofocus is going crazy. So just start stroking paint in, adjust as needed. If you feel like you need more of the burnt sienna, definitely add some. I do want this curve to be up a little bit higher because he's going to be sitting on some snow, so I kind of want the curve, what do they call that? The picture area basically is going to be up a little bit higher. So, gosh, I can't think of what that's called. I want to say vintage, but that's not it. So I'm just going to get a little bit more in my brush. I'm going to bring that up a little bit higher. Woohoo! Don't get into your black like I just did. Alright, I got black on my brush, so my black kind of went a little overboard there. That black's been my nemesis this week because I have a great big huge bottle I'm pouring out of. Oh, that's not better. Please hold while we correct our mistakes. Okay. I'm going to be more wide open. Okay, I'm just going to go back and try and cover that up a little bit. Try to make sure I don't get into the black again. If you get too much of the burnt sienna, just dip back into white, go back over it, blend it in. I'm going to keep working around and bringing that along the edges. Oh, that's really bugging me what that's called. Okay, and then I'm going to flip mine around just because it's easier than having to try to stretch across there since I can't have it up on an easel. I've actually done this workshop before. So I didn't really need to, I didn't need to do it again for a demonstration, but given that I need the videos, I'm doing this one again. So I should know what I'm doing here, right? Except for it's been a year, so I don't always remember. I don't remember necessarily if I did it just the week before, exactly what I did. If you're having problems with it spreading, you can just add a little bit of water to your brush. Thins that paint out, gets it to spread a little bit better, I think. It's a little dry in here right now. Okay, so I'm just going to keep bringing that in. I do still want some of the burnt sienna color in there. I don't want to go stark white because the snowman needs to still show up against it. So I do want still some of the brown in there, which, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get more white because I forgot about my snowman. Not sure why I didn't pour more white. And that's starting to... So I'm just kind of bringing it in a circle until I get to the middle. And then I don't want a spiral in there though, so I'm brushing that out a little bit. Okay. So then just, if you've turned yours around, just turn it right side up again and just take a look and see if that looks about right. And it does. That's probably cool. I do need more white, so I'm gonna reload. And I think I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit up in here. Making sure that I don't want to go clear back to my stark white, because again, I need my snowman to show up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean out my brush. I'm gonna dry it out really good on my rag. I want to do a snow technique at the bottom. So I cleaned it out, I dried it out really good with my rag. I'm gonna take and just swirl it around in my rag. I want to open up those bristles so it looks like this. See if you can see that. I have a tendency to forget that some of this is off camera. You can see that. Oh, there's hair. And then I'm just going to dip just the very tip of those bristles in the white and tap it off. And then I'm going to go where I think he's going to be sitting, and I just want to tap, 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 tap. Everybody thinks that's funny because it sounds like Bob Ross, but that's what you're doing. Just gonna tap some paint in there so it looks like it's fluffy snow. Turn your brush different ways to get different texture in there. And then, because I still have a lot of white in my brush, I'm just gonna clean my brush off right there where I'm pretty sure I want Snowman to be. So I'm gonna hold this up because that's kind of a subtle thing, and you can't see it great on the camera. So I'm just gonna try and give you a look at it. It's just kind of a hint of piles of snow. If you want that more, strong of an effect, you can let that dry and go over it again with some stark white. So I'm gonna go ahead and start building my snowman. So just gonna get white on my brush. I'm going to do the first circle. So it needs to sit down in the snow, and he's off to the side. So this is as big as you envision your snowman to be. We're building a snowman. Pretty fitting given what we woke up to this morning, which was perfect snowman snow. I really wanted to build one. Okay. Yeah, I think that's big enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and shade this one. I'm gonna leave the white on my brush. I'm not gonna clean it out. I'm gonna get some of the burnt sienna on one corner of my brush. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. And then I'm gonna stroke that in the middle of my plate just to kind of blend it a little bit. And then I want that burnt sienna on the outside, on the right side. So I put that point towards the outside, come down, and then turn around and come back. Let that kind of blend in a little bit more. So this is a dirty snowman, I'm not gonna lie. He's been out there for a while and the wind's been blowing. So you can do as much of that as you want. You know, the original is really, the reference photo is really, oh, there's a lot. Do a little bit more. Let's see. Alright, I just obliterated all my shading is gone. Okay. So I'm going to wipe out my brush. I'm not going to clean it out because we're just going to go back into more white and brown anyway. Note to self, put lots of white in the kits. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my next part of the body. So the next ball there, a little smaller. And you don't want it to be completely round because it's sitting on there. So this is flattened out just a little bit. Okay. And same thing, I'm going to go ahead and do my shading on that edge. And really the rougher that is, the better it will look. This is, you know, it's a rustic style snowman, so. Okay. And then one more time, I'm going to wipe out my brush. Not going to wash it out. Go back into my white, and I'm going to put the head on the top. So this is going to be smaller yet. Make sure it's actually sitting on the body. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the brown to do my shading. I kind of messed up and didn't get mine clear up there, so I'm going to do that again. And then the back side of his head is shaded too. A little towards the front. So I'm going to do most of it actually. Kind of faded it out a little towards the front. And then there needs to be some shading under where that sits. Where his head sits on this body, and then where this part of the body sits on the lower part of the body. Wiping out my brush again, I'm going to go back in with just a little more white to make sure I have some nice white on the main part of his face. Maybe take out just a little of that shadow. And take out just a little of this one too. I got a little carried away here. Okay, so he is going to need to dry before we do any details on him, his arms and his face. So while we wait on that to dry, I'm going to go ahead and work on the tree. So I'm going to clean out my big brush. Oh, I gotta adjust my chair. So I didn't do it in the original workshop that we did, and I didn't do it again here. The reference picture does have big snowflakes in it. If you wanted to put in some big snowflakes, you can do that. If you have stencils, snowflake stencils, you can do that. It also has glitter on it. Might be cute down in the snow. So next I'm going to put in the tree trunk. I'm going to go ahead and use my big flat brush. If you're not comfortable with that, definitely switch to your small round brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some brown and get that, dip that off to the side. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of black. Actually, I might need more than a tiny bit because we want this to be almost black, not quite, but almost black. But still add just, I mean, the teeniest amount of black that you can, and just keep adding until you get a really, we want like a chocolate color. But that black goes far really fast. So then I'm just gonna scrape that off on the sides, make sure my bristles are all together. And I'm gonna turn my brush sideways. I'm gonna start where I want my trunk to start. And then I want to end up somewhere a little above middle. This canvas is longer than the original reference picture, so there's going to be more sky. Or you can make it as tall as you want. Just remember that some of those limbs need to come down far enough that he can reach them. So I'm going to start here with my trunk. I'm going to come up and thin out and stop right there. I am going to come back and I'm going to just do another little bit next to that. Just to thicken it up a little. You can continue that up a little ways to blend it in, but that's really all we need to do right there. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I don't want to. Go ahead and clean out my brush. That's probably all I'm going to use this brush for. So now, switch to my small round brush. Get it wet. Dry it off on your rag. So using that same dark color that you just made, you want to come off your tree and bring down some limbs. So you're going to start at your tree and just bring them down. Lift up and get lighter. They can, or thinner I should say. Thinner and lighter probably. That first one should come all the way out to the snowman, unless your snowman's really small or you moved your tree over a lot. So I'll bring that out just a little more. And it's going to have a Y in it. And there's one that comes down here. So your tree is your own. Definitely just put your branches on where you're happy with them. I wouldn't try and follow me exactly. Kind of drive yourself crazy trying to do that. So this is pretty much a Charlie Brown tree though, so you don't want a ton of branches on it. Oh, that one has a really thick branch right there. It's okay. I'm going to cover a lot of that with needles anyway, so. Alright. You have to paint fast, it seems like. And while you're putting limbs on, think about, okay, I'm going to have to put needles on all of these, so don't get too limb crazy. He's going to have to be able to get to this one. So I got my tree a little far away from him, so I'm going to have to make sure I do a little longer ones. The little short ones at the top. And it's okay if sometimes they come out, you know, the same on both sides, but usually you want to offset them. They don't match necessarily. Okay. So I'm going to say that's enough branches. I'm going to clean the brown out of my brush. I discovered today that if you upload videos on YouTube, oh, I put my hand in it, and you were listening to music in the background that's copyrighted, your video can get blocked. So we're listening to copyright-free music. It's pretty funky. All right, I'm not gonna clean that up because I'm gonna end up with needles there anyway. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the needles. So you want to clean out your brush, and when you do, go ahead and dry it out, and then you want to take and bring your bristles all to a nice point and just get a little green on that tip. And we're going to get really fine needles, you're going to want to use the very tip of your brush and not press very, very hard, just real light, short little strokes coming out from those branches. So you can fill these needles in as much as thick as you want. You can curve some of them can be straight. It's kind of nice to do a mix of that. I've been seeing a lot of Christmas lights up already. I feel like people are putting them up earlier than usual, but maybe not. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Like literally this time. But that's fun. I love Christmas lights. My birthday's in December, so that was always, I don't know, that was always a fun treat for me to see the lights. So every once in a while I clean up my brush again because I start getting a lot of paint on it and it starts making my tip more broad. So I'm going to start over by cleaning it out and bringing it to a point and then reloading a little bit at the tip. That way I can start getting a lot more fine strokes in there. Let's see. But if you're really talented, you could put a cardinal in the tree. That would be pretty, because I was just thinking some red berries would look good in here, but there's no reason why there'd be berries in the tree. But a red cardinal, definitely. I wonder if that's why cardinals seem to be a Christmas bird, if they're a winter bird or the color. I think I looked that up last year when we had a cardinal with our snowman, and then I forgot. I forget what we found out. If you wanted to be really creative, you could dip into some brown and get some brown needles in there too. Because you know, they're not all gonna be green. The reference tree I actually think has brown needles at the, like close in towards the body. I think those are, which I kind of like that. I might go in and do that on some of these. Yeah, that does look nice. Oh, you could do pine cones too if you wanted. And since you're doing this all on your own, you can do as much as you want, take as long as you want. And this is definitely interesting. Music. One thing I am doing, sometimes I'm bringing the needles out. They're straight needles. Let me say it that way. And sometimes I'm curving them. What I'm not doing is bringing it straight out from the branch like that. I'm bringing it out at an angle because that's how they're going to grow. Otherwise, you're going to start, I think you're going to start looking like you have a cactus. So you do want to kind of, let me see if I can show you an example. It's hard to see. Give me just a minute. Let me see if that focuses. Okay. So let's see. Where do I want to be here? Yeah, right here. So I am bringing it kind of along and coming out. Or you could curve it this way. Either one of those things works, just not straight out like that. That doesn't look the prettiest. It's not technically accurate either. There are some that might grow, the little short ones might grow like that, but this might be a good one for the, what is it? ASMR, the soothing sounds, like the scratching of the brush on your canvas. Just gonna go stick some of that brown in. Yeah, I really do like that. That looks nice. Uh-oh, I think my funky music is over. Let's see if we can start that again. Oh, it just asks me if I'm still watching. Just judgmental as Facebook is. Okay, just clean up my brush, bringing it back to a point. Gonna reload with a little bit. Boy, that white is just still super wet. Oh, and I covered up my picture. Okay. I could actually be making those longer. You could mix that green with either some black to get a darker green if you wanted, or my suggestion would be to mix it with the dark brown though, if you want a darker color. Dang, that white is so wet still. Okay. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna turn this sideways so I can get to those a little better. Just reloading my brush again. Oh, I wanted some longer ones in there, and I got a little carried away. Don't dip into your yellow instead. Dang it, I almost did it again. Back on it. Actually, there's one that kind of comes down and is in front of the, it's like coming down this side of it, so it's like in front of it, but it's still, there are some needles on that. For a minute I thought it was on the trunk, and I was like, wait, why are we putting them on the trunk? That's just a branch. Okay. maybe if I turn it, I'm maybe less likely to probably dip into my white now. Too much on my brush again. Back into some brown. Maybe that's a pine cone right there. Seems like it wants to be one. Okay. Let's see. That one does have. Is this getting dry yet? It's getting there. Still some that's wet. And this one's kind of another one that comes out from this side of the tree. So some of that's gonna go over the trunk. Awesome possum. Okay. Alright, how does our keep dripping? Oh, I also got my canvas into my black paint. Imagine that, my black paint strikes again. And I really did too. How many of you watched me do that and didn't say a word? Really? Come on. Harsh. Wow. That black is decidedly out of control. Okay, I'm gonna, I want to fix that spot, but I feel like if I try to, I'm just gonna mess it up. So, let's see, what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and put on his nose. So, let me make sure that's dry, yeah. So I'm going to I cleaned out my brush and brought it to my point again. I'm going to get my orange. And we want him to look like he's looking up. So it's going to be towards the top of his head. It's going to be coming up, pointing up into the sky. I'm not sure. Did I get, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, well, he's going to have a fat carrot for a nose. Yes, indeed. And I'm not making it any better. Okay, and then just I'm going to round it off at the base. That's all right. All right. Now my brush. Go ahead and bring it to a point again. I'm going to get the tiniest bit of black on there. And you want to do his eyes right close to where you just put that carrot. And those don't have to be perfectly round. I mean, it could be pieces of coal, which aren't going to be, right? Okay, and then you want to do just little black dots for the mouth, starting clear out here at the edge of the head. Come down in a semicircle. So it looks like he's smiling. Okay, that's kind of a sad smile. Yeah, I don't think we can fix that, but that's okay. Quite often snowmen don't have perfect smiles on them, so you could do buttons down the front if you really wanted to, even. I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry though. Then we'll go ahead and put just a dot of white in each eye too. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the star. So just do a star like you did in grade school. So you just go, let's see, that one across, one line across, then down to that point, up to this point, down to that point, and then connect. Didn't do a great job of putting that at the tip of the tree, but you try better. You can do better. And then just fill that in. Make this a little bigger. Cover up my faux pas there. And I definitely am not looking for perfect. It's a country one, so I feel like the more wonky it is, the more it fits. Kind of a country, it's kind of a country thing where the country style, the stars aren't really symmetrical. And then I'm not going to clean off my brush. I'm just going to go ahead and dip into some white, and I'm going to just get that in the middle and then bring it out into each of the points. As a highlight. And then if you really wanted to, I am cleaning off my brush this time, and get my nice point, barely dip into my white. You could bring some lines off of it like it's, you know, really shining. Those are supposed to be pretty light and subtle.